Time being 7:05. Steve Smith is our first applicant. Applicant is requesting a drainage permit to install tile drainage in Yankton County. Said property is legally described as the north half of the northeast one quarter and the north one half of the northwest one quarter, and the southwest one quarter of the northeast one quarter of the southeast one quarter of the northwest one quarter of the northeast one quarter of the southwest one quarter of the northwest one quarter of the southeast one quarter, and 1 acre and the southeast one quarter of the southwest one quarter of section 28, township 94 north, range 55 west, hereinafter referred to as Vollen Township, county of Yankton, state of South Dakota. Steve, are you here? Okay. You want to come up and kind of clue us in on what's going on?
Well, I had got a permit, and then I had a guy from Kansas come put the mains in, and then when I was there, I thought, well, I'll just keep on going, and I didn't even think about getting another permit for going further. But anyway, we went on further and put the tile all in, and then I put a couple Hickenbottoms in, which means that them orange things sticking out of the ground, you know, and when we had all that rain, I come to find out he never put my mains in right. They floated in there. He dry run it, and then he'd come back, and there was water in there, and it floated. My main did. So it's wavy. So anyway, it's not draining quite right. And as soon as we get this crop out, he is coming back to redo them, to put them in right. So.
You backhoed them in?
No, plowed them in.
Plowed them?
Plowed them in.
And they still floated?
Yeah. Yeah. So, anyway, that's what's happening now. And I went ahead and put all the other 4-inch in, basically without a permit.
So, on this map, which, is this all the new stuff that's not covered under a permit?
Correct.
So where,
The permitted stuff is the very last page here.
From your thumb down. No?
here?
No, really, Steve, the only thing we permitted was here.
Yeah.
This is what was permitted originally, which is a main line from 307, these laterals going into the blue line, which is the drainage ditch, which is Vollen lateral #1.
I think so.
That's the original permit. We gave you that when?
Oh,
I think on the front page there.
that was in the winter time, so
It's
a little more than a year ago.
11/28/16.
So, do you want to point out on the map up there?
Here's where, here's,
there you
if
go.
you take a look at your site plans you got there, here's where all your, here's where the original permit was,
That quarter.
right there. We ran a main line up here and X number of laterals here, which then dumped into that drainage ditch. That's the original permit, back in 2016. That's we permitted now.
Was that that didn't come before the commission?
No, because that doesn't cross any roads, and so it's administrator, correct? Right?
Yep.
He's hooked up to the blue line, as long as we're on the same page.
Yep.
And you guys are too, right? That's an administrative permit. then?
Yes.
Okay. Once it goes across this road, it became a hearing. But I didn't catch it until it was after built. I did not catch this till when, Steve? When did we get together?
Oh,
After
that was.
the big storm.
Yep, middle of summer.
Okay, so everything down here and here, I don't have a permit on. Okay, now that's on your applications there, take a look, and so then Steve and I have come up with the site plan, but, do we have, what'd you call them? There's no surface drainages in there, is there? There isn't any surface holes in
There's
that
two.
system.
Two Hickenbottoms.
What are they called?
Hickenbottoms.
What do we think? I mean.
Well, what's a heckin' bottom?
That's an orange.
Orange things that stick out of the ground with all the holes in them.
But they're still
Okay.
surface drains,
Big surface.
aren't they?
Yeah.
Well,
They're like storm sewers.
yeah, for
Yeah.
overflow.
Intakes.
So that's an irrigated piece?
Yeah, it all is.
Now, you brought the water across the road to the north then?
Correct.
Okay.
All the way down, and then there's a lift station down, and it pumps it up into the drainage ditch.
Where that circle is on your map here? That's where
That's
the
where
lift
it's got
station.
connected into the.
It'd be all further up. Right there, right your thumb there, by that old bridge there.
Okay.
Because I want to make this show that that's the existing system.
That's existing.
What's this now? That existing system running up along, what size is that going into up to the drainage ditch? What size pipe is that?
I don't know what you mean.
Up to your lift station.
Up to your lift station. What size pipe is that? That main line?
That's a 10-inch.
That's a 10-inch.
Yep.
Okay, where does it start being a 10-inch?
All the way from the lift station down to, right where your dot is there.
Is it?
Yep. When it turns and goes west, it goes into an 8-inch.
So do I show that on the site plan? That 10-inch?
Yeah.
10-inch, yeah.
Okay.
This goes to the 8-inch in here.
And then
Okay.
And other than the fact it goes through the road, it's all on your property.
Correct.
And that's solid pipe you had bored through, or,
Right, along them trees there, where the railroad tracks, that's all solid pipe there. And under the road.
And then, okay,
oh, okay,
was
that's,
that bored or dug?
That was plowed through.
Okay. Is that minimum maintenance road?
Well, to the east it is, of the intersection.
Okay. Okay.
so that was a township road that you went through then?
Yeah.
And you had your blessing from the township?
Well,
No?
well, I talked to Ray about it. I didn't hear nothing back, so.
Okay, so we got, I brought it up at a meeting, yes, that's good. All right, okay, so it's already installed, what other, so you've got your 4-inch running along their laterals. We've got, where are those, I wasn't aware of, where are those, I have to look at this, where are those?
Hickenbottoms?
Open drains, the surface drains.
On the intersection, it'd be
So
right here where your circle is, and then
Okay,
one
so-
right by the,
So there's one here on this side of the road, south side, north side of the road?
south side, right
South
there.
side, right there. Okay, there's an open drain right there.
And then on, right here on the other side of the railroad track.
Is another open
Yep.
drain. Okay. Okay,
And there's one down here too I got,
At the end of that.
way down here, right before the lift station.
okay,
There's one.
okay.
But that was previously put in?
What's that?
Was that previously? No, that's just put in.
No, I had, that was in right away.
That was in with the
Okay,
original.
Yeah.
the first permit.
For first minute, that's
Yeah.
what.
But I don't, I mean, even that, I'll give them credit that that's there, but that's just right before the
The lift station.
lift station itself and the big basin that's there at that lift station. Some of these other ones are very open drains. And you want us to consider that. I don't know if we've permitted open drains out there.
I always put 2 in mine,
And surface drainage?
because a culvert comes through the road, washing off the other field, and to avoid having it keep cutting across my field, put a Heckenbottom in at the start of the tile.
At the start.
Yeah, so I can catch as much, yeah, when it comes really hard, when, we get a 3-inch rain, it ain't gonna catch it, but
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I got one coming down the road here, and that's the only way the NRC is gonna let me do it, is a surface drain.
To let it run into the,
Because it was previous converted, but they won't let me go any deeper, so I have to have a surface drain.
okay.
So that's how I just got done peeling that.
there's a big one on the east side of my section on that old, pipe that goes through in my section.
On a previous.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, on the 100-year-old system.
Okay. Does anybody have any other questions for Steve on this?
When did all of this other, like in that 2.028.400.100 and up above that, when did that get tiled?
Last fall. All of it was last fall.
You'd gotten your permit in
16.
August or
Yeah.
16 and you did it in 17.
Yeah, we did put the main in the spring, a year ago spring. And then after the crop was out, then we started putting the 4-inch in.
The crop of 2017.
Yeah, after the crop was 17.
So about a year ago.
Yeah, yeah, not quite.
And all of that has to be redone?
Just the main from the lift station up to the road, up to that gravel road.
That
We
broke-
might even have to go across the road. He was talking about putting a wire down through, then he can see how big the humps and lows are, and then go from there.
Did the work.
It floated and it must got too many goosenecks in it.
Contractor.
Charlie Construction, he's out of Kansas down there. He had a big Caterpillar plow come in and put it in.
You know, that, the blue line where the saw goes into is that a county ditch or?
No, Clay Creek, yeah,
It's actually
Yeah.
bound lateral number 1.
yeah, it's a big
It's
ditch.
just being reinstated now, and they're gonna actually start the levees next spring for that.
Okay. So, how are they gonna do that? Anything that's draining in there is gonna get levied then?
No, just gonna start. You can't, that's a whole different can of worms. We're gonna actually get it started again, so there's the people that are associated with the levy did vote to reinstate the levy, just to get something rolling again. Then they'll worry about the expanded drainage later. That's a big project.
Okay.
Yeah, trust me.
Steve has property right there, obviously has some property. Not all that property is gonna be in the levy. But that's what we'll fix in the future.
Okay. So how full is that? You know, I'm not familiar with the ditch, the capacity of it.
There's a couple other guys in the audience too, who probably have some comments. I've checked it 3 different times, even after major events. The ditch needs to be cleaned out. The ditch is got stress problems, but it's also been ignored for years. I still say that the ditch is perfectly capable of taking a lot more than that, even in the long picture, but it does need maintenance, and everybody's recognizing that.
Okay.
I'd say the capacity in the ditch is there. And it is a blue line, so it meets that criteria.
This last spring was probably the highest I've ever seen it, unless Robert's seen it higher, but that's as high as I ever seen it, after that 12-inch rain we got.
So what'd you did about 160 acre here where it appears, or am I getting
80,
that wrong?
80, maybe not quite,
Pretty close to.
yeah.
That you
Yeah,
didn't-
probably pretty
That you
close.
didn't have a permit for.
Yeah, but yeah, not quite,
Okay.
not quite, probably 140, 150.
Why was there a 10-inch main on the east side of that property installed on that dog leg when you only tiled the, looks like the north piece of that on your original permit?
Why did I keep going?
No, yeah, why was the 10-inch main on your original application? It looks like you were permitted,
Mm-hmm.
you installed 5 laterals and you put in a 10-inch main all the way down to this wood lot in the corner.
Right. Well, eventually I'll tile more in that field. That's as far as we got.
The intention when he got the permit, Casey,
Was
was to
just
tile
that-
the whole thing, grid the whole thing from north to south. And so the 10-inch main was in there to do that.
On that initial 160.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was, the permit was given that we're gonna run it all the way to the end there, well, what for, well, we're gonna tile all the way to the end eventually.
So do you have, now that you've moved south and done another 140 acres down here, do you have capacity in that 10-inch to continue to finish the draining project up here on this first quarter?
Well, if we pull another one alongside the one that's in there, and we'll bypass the first or half mile and put a whole nother one in to straighten that out. I believe the one that's already in there will handle the first permitted one.
Oh, so that's the plan, to play a second.
That's, yeah, because the first one ain't working quite right. Once you get up to them trees, I think is where the problem's at.
So you'll have 2 10-inch lines running there?
Yeah.
So the permit should be asking for a second 10-inch. Because he's saying it came up on the end for him.
Yeah, it floated in there.
So you closer to the road,
Yep,
Well,
just to be clarified?
yep.
You didn't have permit for all this down here.
Yeah, right.
Because you went across the
Road.
Yeah.
It wasn't. See, this was all right to tie all this in-house. But now, wanting to cross the road, to the other piece. And now he's also talking about putting another 10-inch with this permit on this one. So basically, the dotted line that Pat's got there is another 10-inch line.
So that's what that's reflecting?
No, no. We're researching this, we're not quite done yet either. So now we got another 10-inch line down there. We have to make darn sure, especially with open valve, or open, that capacity in that lift station must not back up into those open drains a half mile up. Right?
So you're worried if the lift pump doesn't,
We're not done
it would
researching.
flood his field, or will it?
Well, okay, Steve, you hear what I'm saying. If you
So-
don't have capacity in the
Mhm.
lift, that line's gonna fill up and it's gonna pop up
Right.
on your open drains back there, just like a city storm sewer
Right.
does.
That's what it did, because it wasn't draining down.
So we have to have, in this hearing, what are we gonna get? We're gonna have to know that by the time we're done with this, your lift station will have that capacity.
It's got a 500 gallon minute in there now,
Okay,
and it's not gonna be quite enough. I'll probably have to put another 500 gallon minute pump in there. That should take care of it.
So by putting another line in there and still using the existing one, you're still gonna have that problem with that floating when,
No, because they'll be straight in there. The first one's floating in there, and it's not letting that water go through.
And so that's backing it up.
We're getting
That
back,
pop,
it's backing it up.
but you plan on using this first one and the second one.
Yeah, the first one, we'll just do that first quarter there, that first half mile.
With the first permit.
It's been working pretty good there.
But I guess my question is, you intended to completely tile that first 160.
Right.
So you're gonna have 160 just like you've got going in there now.
Mhm.
Why is that not gonna back up with that float?
I hope not.
I mean,
You know,
we have to have capacity in that lift, or
Yeah.
this isn't gonna work. We have to have something in our permit that says we can't have that acting as a storm sewer in those back opens. And that, I have to work with Steve then in the enforcement of it, but isn't it, we can't be having the lift station has to keep up, or else we've got too much in the ground over there, or we have to stop.
yeah.
Well, of course, everything to the south will be going into a new pipe.
We'll go in the
So
new
they
pipe.
won't even be affected by the heckin' bottoms that are out there.
No, no, or, you know, if I wouldn't even put them Hickenbottoms in, I probably wouldn't even know what was going on. So, I mean, after we get it all done and stuff, I can close them back up, take them back out.
Yeah.
So what happens with that water when it comes out, though?
It just come up and up by the ditch there and then run down through the culvert past Gary's, down past his field.
Okay.
But there was water coming up, down through the ditch anyway already.
It was a huge
Out of
event.
Larry Scorpic's and
How much rain? How much rain that event?
12 inches.
So it's a big event, but still, that's what you're here for.
Mm-hmm.
So if he closes them up, he puts another 10 inch, closes them up, gets down to the pump station, you can still have it come out of the pump station if the pump's not big enough.
No, it's out of the ground, you know, I don't think so. I don't
Oh,
think it'll
it's
come.
out of the ground?
Oh, yeah,
It's,
yeah.
Okay,
From where,
I'm just imagining. in
it's
the ground.
13
I'm just-
foot, it's 13 foot tall from the bottom to the top.
Okay, well,
The-
okay, he's saying it comes above ground then?
Oh, yeah, by,
So-
3 foot.
The tank.
Okay, okay.
the tank, but the water's coming
Well,
It's a round-
partially in the ground. I'm just
It's a round
explaining it to me
culvert.
'cause I don't know
It's a
what we
round,
got
40-inch culvert, 13 foot long, that goes,
down
about
there.
10 foot of it's in the ground.
Okay,
big sump pump.
it's like a big sump pump, like
Yeah.
a house sump pump. Okay, I
Yep.
was imagining a cistern tank or something.
No.
I
It's
didn't.
pumping up out of the basement and going across and going
Across.
right into the pond, which is fine, it's working, but
Yeah.
again, you can imagine the capacity we gotta deal with.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's why. I was just trying to
yeah.
imagine.
And actually, I had talked to Judd Kaiser about getting another 500 gallon minute pump
Okay.
put in.
So the top of your culvert, the elevation of the top of your culvert, is that higher than the farthest point of your tile?
Yeah.
I know that ground's
Yeah.
pretty flat down there.
Yeah,
You follow what I'm
Yeah.
trying to think?
I think
if something
from-
would happen, electricity or something would happen, if your
Mhm.
culvert's higher than the highest point, it'll just flow to a point.
I think from it goes into the lift station till the end tile, the furthest one, I think is 3 foot difference.
Okay.
So it's not that much of a drop
Okay.
on 3/4 of a mile,
Right.
about,
Yeah, I
or a
know
little
it's
bit
flat
more.
down there. I was just trying to figure.
Yeah.
For my curiosity, what's a lift station cost?
Oh, the pump and the electronics, I think was about 8,000. And the pipe and stuff, I think that was about 2,500. So,
And then is it splashing on rocks or something when it's?
it just shoots out into the water, into the ditch.
Have you had any erosion problems?
No.
Ditch is full of water. I mean, it's got 3 feet of water, it's not, you know, it's working, it's got, the ditch has spoils too, so then you got the pipe coming up over the top of the spoils, and it just comes out like a sump pump, and there's no
Oh.
pressure to it. So it just shoots out there maybe a foot or two, and
Yeah.
then falls. I don't see any erosion issues with that situation.
Okay, that's what I was curious.
Yeah, it's a good point, but that seems fine. And some of the people that are on the ditch committee have talked to me about this too, and they don't have that, it's not a bad plan, I don't mind it either. You know, we're just gonna do some other work down there to fix that up, there's culverts and bridges and other stuff that need to be done as well.
And those are your buildings, sites,
Yeah.
right in the middle there?
Yeah.
Anybody else have any other questions for Steve?
Not at this time, I don't.
Okay,
Hang on,
also, Casey.
sorry. So,
I guess the one question I do have is, why didn't you come in for a permit? I mean, you got the first one.
I didn't even think about it. Got the first one and then everything was there and I said, well, we just, well, keep on going. I didn't even think about coming getting a permit.
2,500 foot of 10-inch main line on the first permit. That's the,
Be to the intersection there.
that's the 02, 021, 200, 200 piece, right? Down that east side of that, not on this, on the. That's correct. Yeah,
This one right
that
there.
one there. And now, this permit application has 4,000 feet of 10-inch pipe. Is that correct? 187,000
No.
feet of 4-inch and 4,000 feet of 10-inch?
We're
No.
running the 10-inch, we're running the 10-inch down and then back west and then down again. South, west and down again.
So you got a half,
We got-
quarter, and another half.
It'd be like about 3/4 of a mile.
Mile. In
No,
addition,
mile.
about a mile and a quarter.
Mile and a quarter.
Oop.
10-inch,
Because your field's 160 is a half
10-inch
mile.
to here.
But up to here.
Cause the main would run
But
about
you
straight
gotta add
south
the
of the
10
place, about right there.
He will, but I'm just, you're asking.
Goes all the
Well,
way
the first
to
permit was from here
there.
to
Yes.
there.
Yes. And what do I say that, how many 10-inch is that? Should be like 13, 20, that's from the line.
On the
It's
first-
2,500 feet. That's a quarter, that's a half mile.
Okay.
That's.
Okay,
That's
yeah,
correct.
2460, okay, that makes
But then
sense.
if he's gonna put another one in.
4,000 feet, that's another 2,500, plus you've got another 2,500 here,
That's
Yeah, so
five.
nine, 12.
and
So
another
those-
2,500 between these two. That's 7,500 feet.
No,
No,
that one
only
doesn't.
this one. So there'd be another 1,200. So it'd be about 65.
That one that goes way to the south is a 4-inch
That's
line.
That's
4
4-inch, yeah,
Sorry.
65. But you're right, it'd be 65, if he puts another 10-inch, and then the quarter, and then another half. Yeah, 6,500. And how many did he put down?
4,000.
So it needs to be adjusted to 65.
Thank you.
I don't know anything about. Okay. Anybody else? Okay, we'll have some more questions for him, I'm sure, later, I'm sure.
Okay.
Is anybody else here?
Start with opponents, or excuse me, proponents and then
Proponents.
opponents.
In favor of this project that would like to talk in favor of it?
Go ahead and sit down, Steve, and then we'll call you back up, thanks.
Anybody else that would like to speak in favor of this project? Hearing none, is there anybody here who is opposed to the project? Okay, would you like to come up and state your name and tell us your concerns?
Hi, my name's Gary Smith. I'm the neighbor to the east, right across the road. I've got 40 acres on either side of the road on 307. And that open drain, or what do you call it, Heckenbottom? Is that what you call it? Whatever. Anyways, that was like overflowing bad this year. I mean, and going through the culvert. And when that pump doesn't run, I mean, it's going to keep doing that. So I'm completely opposed to that open drain there in the section of 307, 449.
Can you go up there and just point it out up on that map, that'd help? Sure. That would help. I'm not familiar down there.
That's where the open drains are.
This partial and this partial are Gary's.
Okay.
Okay.
And so that, the pump station, I mean, I don't know whoever designed it, but I mean, I'm curious if they're professional or not. I mean, I stopped and asked Steve who it was, and he said, oh, a guy from Kansas. Well, I'd like to know their credentials, you know? Do they know what they're doing? I mean, because that's a pretty big deal. I mean, because I don't want that, when the pump quits, I don't want that open drain dumping on me all the time.
So I, not knowing that, I was asking questions about the open drain. I think Steve said that he would close them up if he put another 10-inch in there. If you close it up, all three of them, there's three of them, right? then the water's contained in the tile.
That would,
It would not bother you then?
I don't think it would, you know, I mean, as long as when he put a pipe, he put a solid pipe around the one, that, right on 307-449.
Yeah.
And he put it around there, well, I thought, well, that'd do something, but I was looking and the open perforated pipe underground was percolating up.
Yeah, see, he recognized that he's gotta redo it or do something. with it
Yeah, but I
because
mean, so
it
it's gonna be
happens.
perforated pipe right there, so they'll still percolate up.
I think
So how far back does the solid pipe need to go?
you're talking once it comes across the road.
Well, yeah, to the south, because that's where it's percolating up, yeah.
The main line.
Yeah, but won't that, if he just put it in, once it compact, the soil gets back to normal, that shouldn't come back up.
Why is that perf pipe anyway?
Well, he's trying
Why is
to,
that 10-inch perfed?
well, that's why we ran all ours, just because you can pick up more moisture up as you go.
But I've not seen, I guess I'd have to see it first. I have not seen perforated pipe percolate up, even on a pressure situation like an open drain does.
Mhm.
I'm not saying it doesn't happen, I'm just basing it on experience and a little bit of my own,
Visual.
especially down there physics-wise, it's gonna be a tough. But this is kind of an interesting thing too, because how much pressure could possibly be built up on a plugged opening. That I don't have a good answer for, so I don't know what to say there, but I
Because-
don't see it, it certainly isn't the impact that an open drain is, the perforated pipe.
A hell of a lot of head in a 10-inch pipe that runs a half mile.
So, but an open drain is definitely no resistance, at least there's resistance in a perforated pipe.
Right. Which way does that water run when it comes out on yours? Does it run,
East, straight east.
so it follows the old railroad tracks or?
No, it follows the road.
Follows the
It's
ditch.
on the south side of the road.
Way back in there, there's a smashed culvert right before the state ground.
Yeah. That's in,
Basically.
There's a blue line there
Yeah.
from previous state work.
Yes.
So it's in the road ditch or in your field or?
in the road ditch, basically, yeah, until the ditch gets full.
Yeah.
So where that tile turns and heads, when it crosses the road, is there culverts there that it crosses to your fields?
Yeah.
Where that tree, where that little triangle tree is there culverts all four ways or just?
No, just straight east,
Straight east?
on the south side,
On the south side, there's no culvert on the north side.
correct.
Okay, so if he came in, I don't know if Steve will do this, but if he came in with this, he told us tonight, second line, if he made that solid all the way across the gravel road, would that solve it? Then he would just have that 160 coming in
Yeah, I
to
don't,
that line.
I'm not an engineer, I don't know.
Yeah,
You know,
I don't know how much drop there is from the top to the bottom of
but he
this.
said there was 3 feet there. I asked that.
Well-
I'm questioning 10 inches is a pretty small pipe for 160 acres. You know,
But if you make it solid all the way on that,
It's solid along the trees, we put a roll of solid in, there's 500 feet of solid in there.
yeah, but we're just talking here, if we put solid all the way across that gravel road,
well. if
I'll
it's-
even go the mile and a quarter, or 3/4 of a mile. Then it eliminates what he just said, but you
Well,
still,
It don't matter, it can go either way.
it eliminates it percolating out, but you also are still getting your tile lines into it.
The new 10 inch that you're gonna put in there, that could be solid all the way up to
Yep.
your, all the way up to the lift station.
Yep.
Okay. Then that would keep that whole pressure from this 160 down below would be in a solid pipe.
Yeah, like I say, I'm not an engineer, I don't know how much is there.
Either
If
or,
it
like
was,
we-
yeah, but I mean, you know, if as a professional, if I was tiling it, I'd have it all gridded out and have a professional lay it out. So,
I guess we've seen it quite a few. You know, like, just thinking back on other ones, like the colony up at Mayfield. That was all perforated. Never seen any problems with that either, have we? Well, or the one that's Ceases and Healy's and that, those two big, that drains a lot of water. I don't even remember how many sections we got draining into there now. And that's, we've never had trouble with that either. I'm talking about up by Wallstown. We've had some really big ones that,
I think that's an answer we're still getting by. Paul, I agree with what you're saying on the 10-inch, although it go back to what Mr. Smith says in that, you know, obviously Steve's gonna have to do a little bit of, I don't know if the guy from Kansas is coming back up or not, but anyway, I'd like to do a little more research to make sure that the 10-inch is sufficient by calculation. All you have to do is go to the drainage book and find it, and it'll show you that that'll work. It's also gonna show us what kind of water we gotta pump out of that sump pump. I think I'd like to see both those answers and eliminate the open drain there that's causing the grief with this person,
Right.
I think,
which I think is better design all the way through.
Because like the design up by, or the drop up by Mayfield, there's a lot of drop coming on that whole system, isn't there? I mean, lots of drop.
That's a good point too.
that's a good point.
We're on the bottom,
Capacity.
we're on the bottom.
We're in the
I
flat,
was thinking
there's,
that all along. It's a whole different story. You can drain,
But when you do drainage, drop increases flow.
correct.
And when you're
Increases
flat,
velocity.
velocity and, yeah,
Flow is a volume.
volume. See, then,
I think you're getting where we need to be.
yeah,
I really do. I think you're getting, we understand that, and this is from some, you know, we've had a big event to show us what can happen too, but I think we're getting what it needs to do, and that is, that main line has to be a better thought out process along with the lift station. We need this permit to get this thing completely done here. Mr. Schmidt's gonna have to do a little more research to come back to us and say, hey, here's what this is gonna take. Because right now, I have to half agree, I'm not so sure that sump pump can do it. When I was down there, I think it can, I really do, but I don't know that.
it might be a situation where he's gonna have to put two sump pumps in two different systems. If he's running 10-inch, he's got one sump pump doing that 160, and he might come in with a different elevation, put another culvert in, and basically, you know, but that's all done by,
There's several operations out there that'll do the work.
Yeah.
I mean, there are very good installers out there. Let's go back to the one we did with the Hansons. He did a lot of research for that.
Yeah, he did.
He did a lot of effort for that. He had the installers come. They did a lot of research for that. We didn't have to guess anything in that. And that's probably gonna be a real model case.
or
This
even,
one will be fine, but I don't need to necessarily find out. This is a little
Like now
more
after the, he has a 3.5-inch rain there, and like now, I was down there before I come here, and that pump is running about half speed now.
Okay. Okay.
You-
See, it'd be nice to get, I'm making a recommendation, we get a third party that validates some of the things we're putting together here. And come back here, we're not gonna stop you from putting it in, it's already in. Let's just do it right and find out what we need to do with this main line and that sump. And then, come back next month and try again with some third party validation. Or when you're ready with third party validation is my recommendation. Now that can be, I just want some credentials. Don't go get your neighbor and
Sure.
don't go down to Bowling and get some real confidence. Get somebody that's gonna, you know, we have several installers that are working in this area here. I think they,
so, I had a question, I'm working on this new project, so what is credentials? Because, you know, there's the one that's been doing like the Washtown Mayfield area, I know he's installed a lot of tile, but there is no,
he has very good,
he's got good data and stuff.
yes, and he also goes back to the installation manuals and the installation manuals. Where he
Okay.
goes back
Yeah, he does
to
go
the
back to all that
efficiencies.
every time he comes in here.
You're talking about Bryce, and he does everything on the computer, and that kind of,
Lays it all out.
yeah, lays out how much water flow is gonna come through the pipe and
And then he
how
goes
much
back to
capacity
the
goes
maps.
with it.
He does the coefficiencies, he knows the soil type, he knows what your
Okay.
friction
Yeah.
fraction or your pipes.
You know, if you've got
But-
too small a pipe, all that tile you put in really isn't
Gonna flow in.
working effectively for you like you really want it to.
Because we've had like Nelson's beside us, put it in, and they had to come back and put more in.
But some of that.
Yeah, we've had that situation before.
And that's all right, but
Yeah.
this one's an interesting.
Yeah, it is.
All right, thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody else here that would like to speak in opposition to the project? Hearing no one, I guess we'll close the public portion and,
Can we follow up on Steve? I'd like to ask a few questions, but
yeah, we can question them.
Steve, I know.
Come on back up.
Yeah. I know you mentioned earlier you're gonna put another 10-inch. Is it gonna, and then we're just talking here, you heard that we said, to get verification, the flow and everything. And his concern was getting rid of the
Taking
open
them out,
containers and going to a solid line. Are those gonna be problems
Nope.
for you down the road?
No, I don't think so. No.
Okay, I just,
That, when we had that big rain, it ran, probably steady as much as it could. And we did put a gas-powered pump down in there when that was happening. So we were staying ahead of it then. And that pumped, I think, right at 450 gallons a minute, that gas one. And we're staying ahead of it then. But once it starts slowing down, it slows down pretty fast.
because it flows.
The flow does.
Okay.
From that 3.5-inch rain we got the other day, Saturday was already starting to slow it down.
I guess
So,
that answers my questions, I just.
How wide
Anyway.
are your 4 inches, your laterals, how far apart are you?
on that first half a mile, they're 30 foot.
30?
And then up on that others on the south side, the gravel, they're 40 foot.
You really got them close together.
Mm-hmm,
It's heavy soil.
Well, that's heavy and
Oh,
so.
is it? Well, I don't, yeah, okay.
yeah.
It's either mud or it's a brick.
Oh, okay.
You got about 2 days of in between.
What was the reason you only installed 5 laterals off of that first project and didn't finish the rest of that quarter?
It got cold. It was late in the year as far as we got. And usually that first eighth of a mile down there, that's the wettest. Once you get past there, it isn't near as bad.
So then
And it was getting late.
when you extended it and got the rest of this work done, wasn't at the same time, but you did that rather than go and finish the original project?
Right, we did on the south side, the gravel first. That was corn, or that was beans. We was able to get in there sooner.
Oh, I see.
No, that was corn. Yep.
Okay. Well, we may have more questions for you yet, but I think
Yep,
we'll
okay.
discuss it at this point.
You bet.
Well, I think we need more information, I think we need to write down our concerns, what we want them to come back with.
That's why I kind of brought Steve back up, is because, if he's willing to go ahead and get the second party verification, close up the drains, make a solid line, verify that the flow and the pumps on the lift station can handle everything, I guess we probably should, do a continuance till he brings everything else back to us. And it sounds like Steve wants to keep going forward with it, and make it right.
So far, I've heard lift station and main line capacity and then total capacity.
Yeah, you have a second party verification of the whole project.
So we're talking about.
Both
really,
projects.
The engineer can tell us what kind of volume of water, and that 10-inch line is sufficient or not, that's what we're looking for, right? I want that, is the 10-inch line.
10-inch, then also the pump on the end. What'd you guys say?
There's two 10-inch
Yeah.
lines.
Two 10-inch lines now
Yep, that's right.
that we just figured.
And whether the height of the lift station is tall enough to keep it from overflowing in case of a power outage or whatever.
Okay. Eliminate the,
When that big ditch was plumb full, when we had that big rain earlier, that was still down in that lift station, probably 5, 6 feet, the water level.
Okay, your pump was keeping up.
Yeah, yeah. Then we put a gas powered pump in, trash pump too, to help it. But we had that 12-inch rain. And then, but I got another guy looking at putting another electric pump in there. At least another 500 gallon, maybe even a little bigger.
Maybe you won't need that, just getting the second party verification will tell you what you need.
Well, that's a lot of water off. of
Yeah, it is. Kind of.
2/4 of ground.
we need somebody that knows.
Yeah.
That's gone through this.
Yeah.
This is common in Minnesota, this is common
Yeah.
in other areas, but we need that kind of expertise with this.
Because we did this up by,
It's
up
not
north
rocket
too, I
science.
mean, 81, he did that lift station, and then we
Kevin.
switched to Kevin and, but they went and gave us
Shaver.
all the flows and everything with that when we got that one. And how much water was gonna go over.
Okay.
I wanna be a flat out devil in the room, okay? Do we mind talking a little bit about this blue line? You heard Mr. Garrity state that it's been reinitiated,
Yep.
the levy. This back here's county, Clay County line would be right about here if I'm not right. This is the Volund Oil, I would believe. From our drainage ditch meetings, I believe they have some of these, we're gonna hit the county line this year, or this fall. They're gonna have them clean this far. So naturally, you gotta start from the back and start coming back this way. The levy is gonna be initiated in 19.
So you're a mile away, you're saying?
You're a hell of a lot further than a mile away. You're gonna be damn nigh onto 2.5 miles back.
Just a minute now, your green lines are a mile.
Those are quarters.
Those are course, green lines are a mile.
Okay, you'll be a mile and a half back
That's very enough.
to get cleaned to this point. Look behind you on that map back there and see what drains in coming from over in here, from these regions that hit this blue line. The creek here, this blue line, was that half empty before the 3-inch rains?
This last one? Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was way down. It was just
It
about
was
below
maybe
the,
half empty,
it was below the, just about below the gates.
about half empty.
Well, now,
So being devil advocate, you're saying the flow upstream it could be hindered from that 1,000 gallons of water going in there.
Until, I'm not gonna go what I'm stating, until this is drained, I know for a fact that the water was running backwards and flooding this way.
See, I don't.
Cause that bridge over here, there's a bridge right about here that they just put it, and then the blue line, it's right near that. I farmed this here 140, and I watched it. The water did come back and backfill this way. Until his idea is gonna work great, and once you got the proper drainage. Right now, I'm not gonna state that his water is going back. It's just a fact that the water does, if it doesn't drain, you just pump into here and it creeps along. That's what I'm getting at.
So where this goes in, is that Clay Creek ditch where it goes in, or is that just a tributary to it?
It's gonna be, it's Clay Creek ditch.
That is the actual ditch itself where this will get bumped into.
No, it's being, the ditch it's being pumped into is bow and lateral number one.
Okay.
So it's a contributory, like you said.
And I'm getting very familiar with these guys. This bow and lateral number one runs from here to here.
So it's a
Clay-
two mile-
Clay comes down in here, and this is Clay Creek.
Actually, this is part of it here too, that Reamer.
This is the extension.
Yes.
That's the extension, the bow and lateral extension. So there's a lot of different, but it is a blue line. And we're, in our ordinance, we're committed to the blue lines.
Yeah, and we,
And, but on the same token, it's exactly why we're kind of scrambling here right now to get these ditches reinstated, because we can see this coming. But we're stuck. Unless we declare that blue line doesn't have capacity.
Well, that's what Ray's saying.
When is that scheduled to be cleaned?
Like Ray says, I'm not gonna get money till
They're not gonna
19, so we're
get
gonna
money
start.
till 19, and you gotta start at the mouth and work.
so you gotta work back 1
Are
mile.
you gonna have enough money in the year to start doing it, or are you gonna have to wait a few
No,
years?
they'll have enough money in the year to start doing it, but it's gonna be, it's gonna
It's a,
start there.
it's a project.
They don't think they're gonna give like feet, like 500 feet, 1,300 feet. They're not looking to get very far.
Well,
this year.
this goes back to, I wanted to drain into that ditch up by us, and
So
basically it was
we-
turned down because there wasn't capacity there. Same situation.
A lot of times where that ditch, that blue line runs into the Clay Creek there, where it's a Y there where it hits. And a lot of times it coming out of Marindal, there's more water that way, so it swarms around there and it builds a little sandbar there. So it's usually always built up down there just a little bit more. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's another lateral that comes in back about here, right? Back in here that hits this blue line also. There's multiple and that sucker runs pretty heavy at times. So there's multiple sources hitting this line before it gets to the point where they have it clean to drain. There's work that needs to be done back there.
No, but it's good to know. So Ray, going back to it, besides a 12-inch event, him getting rid of the water before a big event is,
There's no problem there. There's no problem until we get full,
until you get full.
till we get full.
And then if you, yeah,
And this,
is it
this
gonna,
ground here that I farm right here, that wonderful 3-4 inch rain, it's flooded exactly where the 13 inches flooded. Now I got water sitting. And it's not, that's why I say that drainage was still nigh unto half full in my opinion, 3 months after the 13 inches. That's how slow and heavy the ground drains going east. That's heavy muck.
There was no water coming down along that oil road before this last spring.
Correct, but there was water sitting in that,
Well, yeah.
In that blue
There was a
line.
little, yeah, in it,
Yeah.
because it won't drain. I don't know if it's, because there's beaver dams down further, I haven't been down by the railroad, where the old railroad bridge is at. Sometimes the Marindal will hold it back some too.
because Marinol's flowing?
Yeah.
No, okay, another question. Is sometimes like by us, is it surface water that stays in the ditch? Because your water table's so high.
there's truth to that. That's probably where our water table
Because-
was at before.
Because right now, they're pumping so much water through the river, you know, where we sit, our water table is high. We're 3 feet down and we're in the water table, you know, so if you get a ditch more than 3 feet, you got cattails, or you got water standing, you know. Next year might be different, but I'm just saying,
In a wet year, it's wet.
it's wet year, it's wet, and there's, and the water table's high right now.
So if I'm reading you right, Ray, you're saying that until that gets clean,
It could, on a heavy rain situation, it could affect, because it's not draining proper. Once that, I believe that once that is cleaned to the appropriate slope, that's gonna make a tremendous difference on his, to begin with, because the water will flow away, even his tiling will, that's what I've learned by tiling. But until that, in a way, it will.
So so I'm just spitballing here, do we put in that if on a high flow that he has to shut his tile down? I don't know, I don't,
do that.
you can't really do
That's
that.
asking a lot on the enforcement, I mean, it's
Yeah, that's
like
right.
saying, you know, given a mandate with no funding or no,
That's
well,
why,
we did that up on Ron Schaefer's.
yeah, we did.
what'd we do?
We've got valves in there. It's
Oh,
supposed to-
excuse me, okay, I'm sorry, I didn't know that we were gonna, I'm sorry, not listening then, I didn't hear what you said.
Well, control it if it's a high flow. He went in and stuck actually another 400 gallons. So he was at 800 gallons and it's spitting out there at a high flow till the creek gets clean. Do we limit how much water goes in there? Till it,
We did that one a couple of years ago where they got electric gates in the pipe too, and they store the water in the pipes until the creek goes down, then they slowly
yeah.
drain the field.
Yeah, that's a Ron Schaefer one we're
Schaefer.
talking about.
Yeah.
And then the one, Ron had also another one that we had to keep the water going into the
Wetland.
wetland. Yeah.
Yeah, like they wanted to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Into Lee Harold's.
Herbold's, there you go. Because he just got done putting it all in CRP and
He wanted a duck
he
pond.
wanted the duck pond.
I don't want a duck pond.
You know what I'm talking about, mate?
No.
But you kind of follow what I'm saying. If
Yeah,
he's
I
got his
know what you're
field,
saying.
if he's draining his field all during the time, so if you get a big rain, his field's gonna absorb more than the rest. But, you know, on a 12-inch rain, there's no way.
Yeah, everybody's in high water.
Yeah.
Well, this land is right along that creek. It's obviously paid in originally. That land was originally part of that lateral, Vollen lateral.
It is currently, it will be levied, the land that's bordering the ball and lateral.
That
Okay,
that
so now
corner.
you go on the other side of the road, and the new stuff will not be levied. Because it's not levied, they didn't do it.
But if he's tiling through this new permit, can they?
No, because you're creating a new tax district, and that's a big ass process.
Okay.
That's a big process, and so.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can't make it,
We can't make it contribute, that's a new tax levy.
Okay, I just,
Just like.
That gets into that
imposing a
water
new
tax stuff. I
Now,
remember.
they're going to, that ditch board is going to.
they're gonna levy anything.
They're gonna start it up, that ditch committee is going to start it up and then follow suit with what Turkey Valley's doing and set up a task district and then include new people and make their district bigger.
anybody that tiles into it.
That's right. But
Or-
you're creating task districts. When you create a new task district, you have to go through the whole IRS thing and the Department of Revenue thing, which, and then there's also a lot of public notices. And then you're telling these people, we're taxing you more now, you can refer us, but we are taxing you more now. And then hopefully everybody comes aboard. That's been kind of a tough sell around here, like with everything from road districts to everything else. So,
What about the lateral between 307 and 308 that goes east?
nobody's touching it yet.
That's just
It could-
dead water.
It's a levied ditch, but nobody, you have to have a local board.
So whoever owns the land along it
The
has to
local
come forward.
landowners, the ones being petitioned, or the ones being levied have to initiate the work.
Which one is that, Gary?
Right to the south of my South 40, going east. up
Right
to
there, you can see the blue line there.
Government land.
Oh, okay.
There's money levied on that right now. You
Okay.
said.
So all it needs is a committee that comes forward to the drainage, the ditch board and says we want to start authorizing money, authorizing expenses. But you have to pull the board back together.
Oh, 5 people.
No, it's we're digressing here, but it works out that you can send a letter to each of the people that are on that levy, that everything has a list, so you send a letter, if it's 10 of them, it's 12 of them, it's 5 of them, and say, let's meet, and then you have a meeting, and then you say, let's elect officers, and then they make a resolution to begin spending the money again. But you have, the actual landowners, the ones that are getting levied, have to have that meeting. Then they make that resolution, then they can come in front of the ditch board, which is the county commissioners, and start to allot the money to be spent.
Where does the money go?
Sitting in the account, just sitting there getting, I think we're at 2.2, 0.3% interest. Whatever amount you got sitting in there, we got all sorts of amounts. We got everything from a couple thousand to double thousands in some of these ditches, but nobody's spending it. We got 20+ thousand in the Gayville ditch, the one that goes through Gayville. That's even after the payments. We finally got that one going last night. So there's a lot of ditches out there that I think we've just totally been asleep at the wheel on. But Turkey Valley's doing theirs. This one's getting reinitiated. The Gayville ditch, the one that starts up north of Gayville and goes through the town center with that pipe, that's being initiated clear down to the Yankton clay, which would be south of Gayville. That's being reinitiated now. South of Gayville. Mission Hill is being yep, we just got that one going, so that'll be the one that goes all around the South Mission Hill, the old Jim River bed. And then there's one more that we're working with, and that is this one. And this one I think we might get in place too. This one is down here next to Cottles, just east of Gayville on Old Highway 50. This one here. So this one here, here's where Ray lives, here's where it comes around. This one here starts at this guy's, you guys kind of know, that runs along that road, and then comes down. That ditch there is being levied, but we don't have the money being spent. There's like 3 culverts in there that need to be replaced. But those are all levied ditches. So.
Well, I mean, that's good information, and everything, but we do need to get back there.
Yeah, and here's where you are back here now.
Yeah.
So here's the ditch we're working with. We've heard from Ray now about capacity. This has been previously permitted, and this, we have to deal with how we're gonna deal with this.
We used to table them, now we just do continuance, right?
You want it, okay, so remember continuance and table. So continuance would be, we want it, you know, are we assured that we can set the date next time, next month, next meeting date, which would be the October, what is it, guys? Who's got the calendar in front of them? Would be the last, are there 4 Octobers or 4 Tuesdays in October?
Yeah.
So continuance would we come back next meeting?
There's 5.
If we table it, he brings it when he gets ready.
Yes, yes. Yes, and tabling means, and I'd like to put a sunset on the table too. I don't want to wait until next February or March.
I'd almost rather see sooner than later.
Okay.
Because it's already in, we need to get this cleaned up.
Okay, so asking the applicant, if we gave you 30 days, could you get the answers to lift station capacity? This is third party. Main line capacity. In other words, you're matching your main line with how much you intend and what you have in the ground and what you intend on putting in the ground. And then, which is the system capacity, how much water is going through, which then relates back to the lift station. They can do this. And then lastly would be can we eliminate those surface drains? Especially the one that Mr. Smith talked about. But I'd like them both to, let's work at eliminating them. Is that all right?
Yeah, I think.
Did I miss anything?
Well,
Go ahead, kid.
I think the permit should accurately reflect the request for 6,500 feet of 10-inch line.
Okay.
Rather than 4,000. And also whether the applicant is willing to go solid or not on that 3/4 mile run.
Well, that would come with this second party
Okay.
Yeah.
verification.
Okay.
Okay.
Either way.
Okay. The solid pipe is, you know, that needs to be in the recommendation, that needs to be part of the evaluation for this third party.
And if they recommend that that's the case, then let's see it in the permit application.
Okay? Okay, and I can go over this one. So
I think,
if you can do that within a 30-day period, then we'll do a continuance. Otherwise, if you think you need 60 or so, then we do a table.
All right.
What do you think?
I'll try to get it in 30 days. I'll get a hold of a couple people, see what they say.
What do we think?
should look at the valve under the throttle list too if we need to.
Okay, yep, that comes with that system party, yes, I'll agree with that, yep. That capacity, if we can't get that lift station to do it, then we gotta throttle it back, correct?
Well, but even if a lift station can do it, but if it's starting to back that creek up and flood.
Okay, yes,
other people-
back to Ray's point,
Ray's
okay, yes, okay, let me write that down,
Because we've done that before.
Yep.
Two others.
and that could be something that, as he has said, sometimes it's just those fancy boards, so it's not a huge expense, but it could at least buy us a year or two of cleaning that ditch out,
Yeah, because once the ditch is cleaned out, you'll probably run full throttle.
then we're moving forward,
You can
okay,
Run full throttle.
all right.
About, do you need easement for the township?
Make sure
Yep,
that-
let's get a town, it's a very low, I mean, it's the end of the line as far as the maintenance road, but we gotta stick to, you're right, let's stick to what we do.
Absolutely.
Yep,
Absolutely.
Baldwin
How many
Township.
easements going back from each parcel, did he have all that?
yeah, that part of it, yep.
Okay. I just,
The township maintains half a mile here, correct?
Yep.
On that road.
Okay, so, but the township will get occupation right away on that, permission from the township. Okay, I know who to track down for that. Anything else? So what will be the date then?
October 23rd, 23rd.
We've got some other people in the audience too. Is there any other concerns that we might be missing here? You know, we don't live there.
we try to be as open as we can.
Yeah. If Ray hadn't talked about this, we would
Yeah, we didn't know the ditch was.
have. Okay,
We need a motion to
I'll make a
continue this?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to continue this and what Pat all said to come forth and now if we did a continuance and he tells you that he needs 60 days,
I got a table.
you gotta table it. Okay, well, we'll continue this then. Till next meeting.
okay, we've got a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Ray F. Roll call vote when you're ready, Pat.
Okay, for continuance to October 23rd, 2018. 2, answer third-party valuations on valve system, lift station, mainline capacity, the total system capacity, and the possibility or the proposal of eliminating the surface drainages, and the solid pipe proposal on the main line. Kolacek.
Aye.
F.
Aye.
Hanson.
Aye.
Cruz.
Aye.
Tom. Aye. Pixler. Doomer.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay. Okay, and next item on the agenda, the time is 8:13, is public comment. Anybody have any comments? Okay, hearing none, we'll close that. And Pat, you've got administrative down there, or did you cover that earlier?
I don't have anything.
The Drainage Commission appointments?
Oh, yes. And then, no, when I've sent out the letters and things, I guess the only thing I wanted to touch on was I sent the letters out and I asked him, and Mr. Katalik was one that wanted to come off, so I did do that. Is everybody else okay? Okay, super. Yes,
Who's,
good. And that's all I want to know then. We'll just keep moving forward.
We're on terms, aren't we?
Yeah, we don't have to do our terms until March, so I'll let you know then.
Okay.
Tom Bixler, this is Frank Krolichek Jr.
Hey, Tom?
He's one of the ones that are on our board too, and he's been there for a while, and Tom's a new board member, and he's taken Art Katolik's place.
Thank you. I did have one question on this, kind of kept my mouth shut because I'm the new member here. But I was looking at Steve's application, and it says that he has no vested drainage rights on it. And it's the only thing about drainage rights that I read on this thing. And so if he has no vested drainage rights, does that mean that he has no drainage rights whatsoever?
No, it does not. In your manual, back in the late 1980s and early 1990s, the state of South Dakota requested people to register at the Register of Deeds all of their existing tile and drainage that they had in their rural agricultural properties. And then they went and they vested them, and many people had tile drainage, many people had other kinds of drainage, and also then surface drainage. And when they registered those at the Register of Deeds, they became what's called vested drainage rights. And so when we look at applications, we take a look. In fact, I just had one on Monday in which the individual came in and did not have the property connected to the blue line. And I said, we have a problem. And he says, well, I have clay tile there right now. And I said, oh. And he went next door to the Register of Deeds and came back with that paper that was the vested water right. And on there, there's a site map, just like you see that these applicants give you, that they draw where the clay tile is. And then we have to acknowledge that just like a blue line. And so so there's many properties out there that have vested water rights, but Mr. Schmidt did not. He had to come to the hearing because he did not have vested water rights on that property. So that's what we mean by that.
Yep. I just wanted to make
Sure.
sure. That was-
And that makes perfect sense. And there'll be many things like that bouncing along here. The drainage world has its own terminology, and you will get used to it.
Yes.
And we urge everybody that gets a new system, like when he gets his all done, go in and register it.
Yes.
So that it's
It's in the system.
It's on file, yeah. Because someday he won't own it and somebody else will have questions about it.
His boy will be asking questions.
Yeah. Anything else? Okay. All right. Very good.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second, okay, we have a motion to adjourn in a second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.
my second?